the whole race depends on your running section. We need to do strategies, but it won't work 100% as we have planned it. There will be 10 to 20% of change in the race itself.
Welcome to the second part of this episode related to ultra endurance sports. In the previous part, we discussed a bit about how to practice for the different races such as Ironman and Ultraman. Now, in this part, we will move more specifically to the days of the event and cover in detail how the specific day goes for the athlete. Atharva?
So during your Ironman, the actual days when you actually participated, can you take us to that day and describe the whole experience along with the timeline? Also, if you had any strategies planned before going into the match, please do share them as well, so we can come to know about the actual strategy that you had planned and the actual experience that you experienced.
Okay, so I would like to start from my 10th standard. Like after completing my 10th standard, I was fully focusing on the sports background. Like I had took commerce in my 11th and 12th, so it was there wasn't enough to study from way of science students. So in 11th, I got an opportunity to do modern pentathlon, the sport of five. The event of five sports. So after that, I had my fitness on its peak, and after that, I decided like when I was going through the Ironman website, so they had a clause like the athlete must be 18 on his birthday, sorry, on the race day. So it came to my mind like immediately after my 12th, when I turned 18, why not do the race at that point? As it is, I had my fitness on the peak. So I just I had a talk with my parents like I wanted to do this race, Ironman. It has a couple of distances and all of it. So they just agreed to a point like just train for it and show us the results in a couple of races in and around Pune, Maharashtra, and elsewhere. So then we will give you the permission and let's see how does it go. So after 11th, I started training for my Ironman. So I was new in this field of triathlon, so it took a couple of months for me to figure out how to train, what should I do. And for my swimming, I had my coach Kalpana Ageshish since my childhood. So she took care of my swimming trainings and everything. So till the point like I had planned my race in Australia in the month of May, and I had my 12 exams ending in April. So I had a very little time to prepare for the race, and I had to cut break from my training for 2 to 3 months due to 12 board exams. So after my board exams, I had 40 days in my hand to do. So after getting up from the rest, like 2 to 3 months of rest, and again coming back to the training was a very tough call and a decision. Like the call was like to do the race or not to do the race, like to give it a shot or not, because the 40 days of training wasn't a big like mileage for me. So I initially took the shot to train for 40 days and go for the race uh, uh, for Ironman.
So did you have a plan that I would run so much in so much time? So do you have did you have any time limit goals?
Like for the beginner athletes like me at that point of time for my first Ironman, the strategy is simple. Like you just need to finish the race within the 17-hour limit. And when we in prior do up all the strategy, like I will swim for this many minutes, then bike and then run, and have various strategies for every sport. It doesn't pretty much go well with what we have planned in prior. So in the race, you tend to come across various strategy, various obstacles, wherein at that point of time you need to make strategies at that moment with reference to the time you have in hand. So while I was in race, the swim was pretty good. Like I finished it in 1 hour and 5 minutes, and then I headed back to the bike after completing 90 kilometers of 180 kilometers. So I had on the second lap, like after completing 90, so eventually it started raining in Australia on the race day. So it was a bit difficult to bike in that scenario. And after completing 45 kilometers of it, my rear brake got jammed due to the race, due to bumpers, speed bumpers, and the rains and everything. So I had to do strategies over in the race, like how should I manage the break and how should I come to the finish line of the cycling leg, and how much time do I have in spare for the running portion. So strategies come, like we need to do strategies, but it won't work 100% as we have planned it. There will be 10 to 20% of change in the race itself.
Yes. So the strategies don't always work out, but what happened in real time? So how much time did you actually take for all the three events?
For my finish time was of 14 minutes and 14 hours and 17 minutes,
Okay, that's great.
which I had planned to do the race in 13 hours and 13 and a half hours. So it gradually increased the time. As for the running section also, there was rain over there, so my shoes got heavy with all the mud and water in it. So eventually the time got increased.
So do you remember the split of all the three events?
I don't pretty much remember it right now. So the roughly was 1 hour for swim, then 7 hours on the bike and 6 hours on the run. If I'm good at it. Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
one more thing I wanted to ask is, so during the competition, do you get any food supply or what? So what is the
Yes,
arrangement of that?
you have food stations and water stations on for cycling it's on every 15 to 20 kilometers, and on the running leg you have it on 1.5 or 2 kilometers on every 1.5 or 2 kilometers. So you have enough food and water supply over there. But
So
it's
what food did you take? So are this so this food is provided by the competition organizers, or you can
yeah,
bring your
it's
own?
yeah, we can take our own food, but after we are finished with our supplies, we need to get it from them. Like it's supplied by the race organizers, but it should be like you need to come on the left hand side of the road, depending on the region you and traffic rules over there, the like left hand drive or right hand drive. So you need to come to the on the left side of the road or right side, take the supplies, and then start again.
Okay, so what did they actually provide? So do they provide any energy drinks or normal water or what?
Yeah, they do provide energy drinks. Then on the running lake, you have coffee, no, not coffee, you have Coke, then bananas, watermelons, jellies, energy, jelly candies, like you have the teddy bear, snakes, and everything, like then sandwiches, chips. There's all sorts of proteins and carbohydrates.
Okay, protein and carbohydrate. And so of all the three events, which one was the most draining in terms of energy for you?
It's a running portion. Like if, the whole race depends on your running section. Like if you are in the leading athlete, like you are the leading athlete, but you are pretty poor on the running leg, the other athletes are good. Like there are various kinds of athletes. Some are good in swimming and some are good in running portion. So you overtake them in the swimming part, and after you come on the running leg, they overtake you and they score well in terms of timing. So the whole race depends on your running section. And also after swimming and cycling, it's the most draining activity you do it, because it's you tend to use up various muscles, and on the backhand you have done cycling on those legs, and then again you are running on it. So it's a
Yes.
pretty tough job.
So we discussed about Ironman race in detail, about what you actually went through. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know about Shubham's Ultraman experience, we would link the talk of his TED Talk speech where he describes his Ultraman journey, the split in the 3 days in detail. So you can check it out there. So now we'll move on to the next question. So, viewers on.
Yeah, so this race is so taxing, and you would have probably done Ultraman once and a few Ironmans before that. So, does this result in any long-term injuries, or like how is the life after, like once you retire, or say once you stop racing? Like, does it have any long-term effects on the body?
Yeah, it pretty much does have a long-term effect. Like when I was training for my Ultraman, so I had this injury, not injury, like my muscle got very much tightened. Like I had IT band syndrome, like your muscles tighten up from your glutes to your knees. So when you try to run, it pains like anything. So before the race, like 1 month before the race, like before that, I was training for like 40 to 45 kilometers per week, and after at the last month, it pretty much got in declined to 5 kilometers per week. Like I wasn't able to run, so I took this needling therapy, which was tremendous painful, and I did a short on the running leg of the event. So after that, still now it pains somewhere in point of time, and after you have completely, like after it happens when you race, you tend to rest for a month or two. So in my case, it went from 2 to 3 to 4 months to a year, and now it's almost 2 years. Now I've been training since, because of my college life, hectic college life.
Right. So one more thing I just wanted to ask, that we discussed about the negative effects that it can have on the body, but it is also seen that, and it is all it is a commonly known fact that if you exercise in any form, so your resistance, your immunity increases, and it is especially relevant in this corona pandemic.
Corona
So
scenario.
as an advice to normal people who are not into races, but so have you experienced that shift happening to you, that when you were training, that your immunity or your resistance to diseases was more than what it is when you are not training?
Yeah, I would like to recall since my school days, like when swine flu had came, and uh, at that point of time, I also was training and doing various races. So at that point in time, also my immunity was good because of the uh, daily working out. And also in this coronavirus, you can pretty much mark out, like you can make the difference. Like you won't find any cases of coronavirus to the athletes who are training on a good scale and having a who are doing pretty much good. So sports does build up your immunity and your resistance to fight all these germs and viruses.
So, what's next for you? Like, is there any race that is beyond Ultraman? Like, what comes after Ultraman?
After Ultraman, there is this Ultra King. So everything is same as Ultraman. The distances are same, but in Ultra King, you need to do it in like 36 hours continuous. You can't take a break. Like in Ironman, yes, in Ultraman, we had a break of 12 hours after, like we had 3 days of racing, and after 12 hours of racing, and after that 12 hours of rest. So in Ultra King, you don't have rest, and you just completely do every activity one after the other. So it's pretty much a tremendous amount of stamina you need to bear it. So let's see. Not yet in the next 5 years or so, but it's in my bucket list. Let's hope I do it after in the span of 10, 15 years.
Right. And there is this concept in finance where there is a company which has multiple different branches, and if you value the branches separately, then they have higher value than the company itself. So similarly, if you now decide to go purely for swimming or purely for cycling or running, then do you think that you will be able to perform at the same level as the athletes, or you are now more trained for the triathlon specific events? Like if you decide to competitively participate in purely a marathon, then do you feel that you will rank highly in that?
Yeah, if you take endurance events to endurance events, like after doing an endurance triathlon to coming to an endurance cycling or marathon, yes, pretty much we can excel in it. But if you jump from endurance to sprinting events, like short events, so I don't think we would stick to the event, like because those athletes have purely trained for the short distances. They are
Yeah.
going to excel over there. So it's a pretty much big transition to do over there. So endurance and endurance goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Why I asked is because when you are doing an Ironman, you have already finished swimming and cycling before you start the 42 kilometers of running. But
Yeah,
whereas in a marathon, it's just the 42 kilometers, so you can spend more energy on the running. So
running.
that way
Yeah,
the speeds would be different, right? So
different. Yeah. So, but the mindset which we triathletes have got, like for before running, we need to do something like of swimming and cycling. Then it excites you for to run a marathon, which happens to me. So I can't just go and run a marathon just like that. Yeah, but I will get good splits, but it won't be it what can I say? It won't amuse me or emphasize me more of just doing a marathon. It eventually it will decrease my interest in it.
right. Let's move on to the finances. But before that, I have one personal question for my side. From my side, I was thinking of completing Ironman say by 2025. But for the past 3-4 years, I have been studying CA and CFA, and now I am working. And now it is just the complete lockdown. So I have been living a complete sedentary lifestyle. So for someone like me to complete Ironman, so how should one go about it? From like zero fitness to the Ironman level of fitness.
So for zero fitness, I can pretty much advise you to for the first 6 months, you need to take swimming lessons and running. You need to hit the road for running. Like it can be up to your average and mileage. Like you can run for 1 kilometer, 2 to 3, depending to 5, 6, 10, depending on your stamina and your endurance. But for when you do it for continuously 6 months, you get pretty good at it and you get acquainted with it. So after that, for when you train specifically for the event for at least 6 months, you are pretty good to go. So a time span of 1 and 1.5 year is good for the zero level fitness one, guys.
Got it.
Right.
So now we'll move to a very particular and a very important aspect of triathlons and this big event is the finance part. So what is the registration process in terms of fees? How much fees do you need? How much money do you need in terms of just the registration? Then after the registration, how much money is goes into buying all this equipment? So okay, if you can give us a rough estimate, that would be very good.
Yeah, so triathlon is pretty much expensive event. Like in terms of registration, you need to have 35 to 50,000 for an Ironman. It also depends on the region where you do it and the dollar or euros depending upon the area or anything, the country. So for an Ironman, you need to pay for Ironman for 35 to 50, and for Ultraman, 1 lakh rupees. And in terms of specifications of like equipment, you can just start from for the cycling, like you can do it on a 1 lakh bike to it almost goes up to 10 to 15, 20 lakhs upon your budget. So a minimum would be of 1.5 to for a pretty good bike. And for running section, you just need a shorts, a t-shirt, and a good amount of shoes, which can come up to 15, 20,000 as well. The most expensive you have is for traveling, stay, food, and bicycle equipments.
So that is not included in the regi- registration fees of the event. So they
No,
don't take care of it. Okay.
the things only include in the registration as you get some goodies from the organizers, like it may be a bag or a finisher t-shirt, a towel after you finish the race, a e-certificate, a medal, and and also food supplies on the race course. That's it, nothing else.
Understood. Understood.
Right, and like in Tour de France, there like for cycles, there is a team or an entourage behind the cyclist just in case there is a mechanical or technical default in the cycle. So similarly, you said about your rear brake getting jammed. So in such a
Yeah.
situation, like, did you have a spare cycle or like
In
you can
Ironman,
just
as compared to it's just a 1 day event, so you have technical tents over there. Like it's somewhere around last like a point on your lap and on the start point of your race. So and there are also officials on the route, but they make you do it yourself. It's a small technical issue, and if it's a major issue, they help you with it. And for Ultraman, it being like a vast endurance event, which of three it consists of 3 days. So you have your personal crew with you, personal crew vehicle with you, and you can have a spare bike, but you can only change the bike once. Like for when you are riding, and if your bike gets has a technical issue, you can just shift to the uh, spare bike. But after that, you can't jump to your first prior bike.
right.
So talking about the budget again, so can you give a rough estimate of how much it had cost you in total for competing in Ironman? So let's say
For
about
yeah, for
10
Ironman,
lakh.
no, it's for around 3 to 4 lakh for Ironman, and for Ultraman, it's around 6 to 7 lakhs. It depends on where you stay. If you book a 5-star, 7-star hotel, your budget is gonna increase. And
Right,
if you book a budget stay, if you can go for 5 to 6 lakhs.
right. So how did you manage these fundings then? So was this personal funding or were you sponsored? So how does this funding go on?
Like you, if you need to get sponsored, you already need to get, you need to be a pretty big athlete, like a celebrity athlete, wherein their companies are ready to pay for your what can I say, fees, all the expenses. But for the local level and athletes like us, we need to get it self-funded.
So you personal funded everything.
Yes. Like the scenario in India isn't that good as in foreign countries. Like there are people to help you in other countries, like in Europe. There are teams and companies which fund athletes, but in India, regardless of the competition, like there is a huge competition amongst the athletes. So you don't get that amount of response from everyone.
Right. And what is the importance of, say, mentors or coaches when you are doing the Ironman training? Say, an 18-year-old right now wants to start his Ironman journey right now. So, how does he go about looking for a coach?
if you are like a beginner in this field, then you should get a coach. But if you are pretty good at sports and you had a good background, you can do it on your own. There isn't a big rocket science like how to train. You're just you need to plan your training, what distance you need to race, and yeah, that's it. You need to just chalk down, because we know our body than anyone else does. What they are gonna do, just give you the technical things and make a workout on your background and historical events and everything. But in the end, you know your body and what your body takes to
So
do.
finally, you trained on your own while going to Ironman, or did you train along with someone?
Yeah, I had my coach Kalpana Agashe, who helped me train my swimming since childhood, and my physio Dr. Abhijan Sinha. I just had these two coaches. Else, I trained wholly on myself.
Right. Now, before we move to the last section, which has two questions, which are standard for all the episodes,
Yeah.
I just had an interesting thing that I saw a few months back, where a guy called Anders Hoffman completed an Iceman, which means he did a marathon, which means he did an Ironman in Antarctica
Okay.
to promote awareness about global warming. So,
Yeah.
do you have any such crazy dreams or plans that you want to achieve through your journey?
Not any crazy plans or anything, but yes, I would like to keep training and do certain events, but not this type of crazy things to go in Antarctica and swim in the ice. But yes, I would like to do the Iceman marathon. Like there is a marathon in on Antarctica. Like you need to run for 40 kilometers, 42 kilometers over there. That's would be in my bucket list.
Right. So now you told us about your mentors, Kalpana Agashe and your physio. So what is that one advice that your mentors gave you that will stick with you forever?
My mentors to taught giving coaching. Apart from giving coaching, they taught me always that respect your sport, whatever you do it. Because if you just lie to yourself, if you just swim for 1 kilometer and you told your coach to yeah, yes, I did 2 and 3 kilometers, it's not gonna benefit you from any point of time. Yeah, they will think, yeah, he has done okay, he has completed the thing. But on the race day, you know what you have done in the past, and it reflects you on the race day. Like if you have been bunking your sessions and being getting be lied to yourself, like okay, let it be, we'll see on the race day what happens. It doesn't suits you. Like it doesn't it reflects on your race day. You end up having a bad time, bad performance and everything.
Right. And lastly, most of our audience is in the age group of 18 to 34. So any parting comments from your side or any advice from your side to our audience?
Just be constant what you do and have complete faith in yourself. That's it.
Right. So thank you so much, Shubham. You have been a lovely guest and a great friend. I'm sure down the line, and
Thank you so much.
we'll love to have you and listen to you down the line. Say 5 years down the line when you are completing the Ultra King event,
Nothing.
and we hope to see you in the future episodes. Now, if
Thank
you
you so
could
much.
just
Doing a great job. You just are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we will link all of Shubham's social media handles in the description box below, and we will be linking our social media handles in the description box below as well. Now, if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do click on the subscribe button below and press on the bell icon to get regular notifications from us. And if you haven't checked out the rest of the videos yet, then please do so. I'm sure you will get lots of value from it. Until the next time, it's goodbye from Vyoswan and Atharva, and we'll see you in the next video.